Hey.
All right,
Perfect.
Welcome everyone. We are starting a new series 2022 about race glider pilots. And I would like to introduce on the other side of the screen, Mr. Martin Weberschock. I would say, if not the most famous F3B pilot, for sure, one of the most famous F3B pilot in that world. And I really want to take the chance to talk about history, about yourself, about your amazing projects. And I think we're just starting right now off, and just tell us who you are, Martin. Welcome on the channel.
Yes, thank you very much, Danny, that you invite me for this interview. And yeah, I'm quite happy to have this possibility also with this very modern possibilities. Yeah, I fly with models since I'm now 50 years old in this year, and I fly since I am 6 years old. So in my feeling, in my whole life, I was a model pilot, and that is one part, but more the part of building planes. I think that is maybe a little bit more important for me. And
how did you come from a background with a family which was flying
yes.
from the beginning?
Yes,
and they kind of teached it to you. How was that?
Yes, my father began model flying in 1972 when I was born. So maybe that has something to do together. And he started with a charter from Robbe, and I have two older brothers. They do also model flying, or they did model flying, but it get very extreme, very extreme on myself. And you can see, well, maybe here in the book. This is my family when we go in the past to the Wasserkuppe or to the Weiersberg in Germany. And yeah, we go always together. And when I was young, we were always on a model airfield and nowhere else on the weekends. So yeah.
And we know the background which you are standing in your workshop is very famous. We can listen to all the birds you're having, the famous Wallersittich, I would say in Swiss German. Where are you based in Germany?
Now I'm based here in Göttingen. It's totally the middle of Germany and close to Kassel.
Yeah,
I have studied psychology here in Göttingen, and we built up a family here. So yeah, it's a nice area to live. I can fly 200 meters away from my house, and that's amazing.
Very nice, very nice. You guys, if you know, we having a YouTube channel. If you do not follow it yet, please subscribe. You can just hit the button. There are more glider pilot series online already, so that's really cool. And we will also have Martin this year coming to the GPS Sportcraft World Championship in Ulm, Erbach, and he will be moderating over the Facebook channel and YouTube channel together with me. So that's also very awesome. So Martin, basically, I know you as a F3B hero since many, many years. The question is, how did you get there? When did you, I mean, you started to fly with your father, with your brothers, and you started to be addicted also to creating your own planes from the beginning, or how did you get into this?
Now, I built, of course, from model kits like Dandy and Trimmy from Carrera. And in the beginning, I remember I couldn't draw the model on myself because I was too small for this. Okay. So that comes a little bit later. So I do a lot of things on myself with free flight models. And when I was, I think, around 10 years or 10 to 12 years old, I meet a friend from another club, and he talk about S3B, and just this talking, I was just listening, and I remember when he talked about, I was thinking directly, that's what I like to do, and that's my that's my goal, to do this, to fly fast also with a sailplane, to do different things. Was immediately a dream for me to go on this, and that has not stopped today. Yeah.
And I just followed a little bit, or I was also Googling a little bit through your career. And there is this famous YouTube video. I think we will post the link in the below about it. I think you're world record holder in the F3B speed task, no?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Now 2 times. Yeah.
2 times. Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
So that was very lucky that somebody filmed this 13 seconds or 12.93 seconds speed flight, and it's amazing. It's 40,000 clicks it has already, and that was in Kirchheim on a normal World Cup competition, and I go to Chile, to Santiago de Chile, I think 2 years ago, and there I get another world record with 11.66 seconds. So I could do it faster again.
Really? Okay. Maybe for the guys which are not so into it, how long is the distance you're doing in this 11 seconds? Oh, you have your model there. Yeah. Okay.
That's we have 150 meters at distance, or and we have to fly it 4 times. So we accelerate before we go in the course, and then we have to do it 4 times, and then the time stops. Yeah.
So that's 4 times 150 meters.
Yes. Yes.
Turns together, and you did it in 11 seconds. And what you would say on a normal competition day, when you fly, what is the average normally?
I think it's around 16 seconds. So sometimes you win a speed task with a low 15 seconds run. Sometimes it's 14 seconds, but 11
like
seconds.
Almost 30 is like 30% faster then. That's pretty amazing.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
Cool. Okay. And that was, of course, we will talk about the models later on also, which you're developing. I would like to know, everybody knows you with your special outfit. There's a story around this, and everybody knows the pictures on the internet and on your Facebook profile and so on about this workshop. So everybody believes you actually only standing in that workshop all day and laminating, but you do have a second passion for a job as well. And how do you separate the hobby kind of building side with your actual work as a psychologist, right?
Yes, the separate gets lower and lower because I'm a coach and I have studied psychology, so I'm a psychologist, and I help in companies, especially in the economy area, to motivate people how they can work very well together. Okay. So team building, or also trouble with other people to help in a conflict. That is my job there, and now it begins that the people come also in my workshop, and we try to do to talk about the right things, or to ask a lot of, find a way how to go on in my workshop. And that is pretty nice also for the people, because we can do a little bit, we can have a break, and we can work on planes or whatever we want, and then we can talk on. And I like it a lot. I think it's very important to be somewhere where you like to be. And that is, I was not thinking what a change for me when I built this workshop, but it's my place to be.
You also, is it connected with your house, with your family?
Yes. Okay. The house is close.
Yeah. Okay. So you actually do have you have your own space, but it's connected to the rest of the world.
Yeah. But it's always difficult. I have to be careful when I use polyester things, because they smell it also. They know it directly when I do it.
Okay. Very nice. And you also have your own website and your own YouTube channel with the Weberschock development, right? We will also post a link below so everybody can follow that. After entering the F3B scene and starting to create models, the models we do afterwards, how did you have the idea to create a brand, a company doing fiberglass, not just model designing, also repairing? And lately, I know many guys which joined you on kind of building seminars, which is very unique. I think you are almost the only one in the world offering this, right?
Nearly. It's it was one goal. To come in this business, that was really strange, because that was never my goal, because I think it's very hard. It's a very hard business to build planes and to try to make money with it. And we designed a model for Heiner Fischer. He was a famous model builder in Germany. And when we designed this plane, he asked me in the end of my study time if I can help to build the fuselage. And that was the plane Estrella. And I say, okay, yeah, that's maybe good to have a small business where I can make money. And I built this fuselage, and I see, oh God, what a strange construction. It's absolutely too complicated to build this fuselage. It's you cannot make a good business with that when the construction is so complicated, and we were responsible for this construction. So I was thinking that we have to make it much easier, and we have to go on the focus to produce such a plane very easy. And then I try this Eurofia project, and my thinking was just, I make a plane what everybody can build it very easy on themselves, and then the world asked for this plane, and I begin to build planes, and then you know how it goes on.
When did you started your actual company, or in which year did you start to make the first production models? I would say
it was 2002. 2002, after the end of when I get ready with my education. Yes.
Okay. And you were racing, you were flying competitions already with F3B? Or it did all come together like in one time?
No, I fly since 1988 when I was 16 years old. And there I start to fly S3B, and 2002. So I was 20 years flying S3B.
Okay, and then how was it back then when you kind of entered that scene? Did you build those planes on your own with your brothers already, or did you buy stuff, or who was the driving force behind your kind of entering to the F3B scene? There must have been some guys around you which you looked up, and how was that? And maybe also always try to say the years, because it's quite interesting, like 1994, and doesn't need to be accurate, but just that people get an understanding about it.
Yeah, it was, I think 1987, there was a world championship in Germany close to Osnabrück, and my friend who the same guy who told me about S3B, I went with him to this world championship, and it was raining the whole week, and we were sleeping in a tent. It was quite awful, but it was amazing to see Reinhard Liese to win this world championship, and to see Ralf Decker. And I get the names on my cover of the plane, and I ask, can you describe? So Yeah, I remember when Helmut Quabeck and Ralf Decker, they were smiling because maybe they make not so much autograms to somebody, but I wanted, and then 88, I begin to copy the planes, what I seen, and also.
Copy? Did you just say copy, Martin?
Yes, yeah, I try to build the Epsilon and yeah.
Okay, it was already the time having full composite planes, or it was still like fuselages in composite and wings in wood sandwich, or
no. I try to copy the no name from Ralf Decker, so I begin to make a master for a mold, but you know, I begin with the left wing, and when I get ready with this mold for the left wing, I see, oh, the shapes of the plane looks completely different now. They make now the epsilon, and then I start to make a epsilon wing that I built in positive, and then I bought a mini Starbird from Geithner, and I tried to make a copy or a mold of this, and so I try a lot of things in this beginning, but was not fully success. So, you know, in that time, the winches were open, so you could have a very strong winch. And my father has built a winch up from a Piaggio P200 motor cycle or motor scooter, and so we had a really strong winch in that time, and my planes were not strong enough for our winch. So yeah.
So what happened then?
Yeah, the linkage for the elevator was not strong enough, so they had a short life in that time.
Short life. And back then, was there kind of a special group, or you see it now in the F3B and also in all the other things? I know some guys had teams and so on. What was kind of, who was there, or which pilots were there also kind of leading you towards your career or inspiring you, I would say?
Of course, Reinhard Liese and Ralf Decker, they were the gods of our class in that time, and I read everything about them and about their models. And when you look in the books from the school, you find always drawings of the planes from them. And we have this C-Kader, so we have this Liga system in Germany, and I start in the C Liga and meet the Kowalski brothers. They
Kowalski brothers. Sounds like mafia,
you don't know the Kowalski brothers. No. They are still competing in S3F in the slope flying task, and they come with a Spark to the competition. So, yeah, this is a Spark 5, and they start to fly with a Spark 4. That was the first really successful V-tail plane, and we come together and we say, okay, we shall do things together. And they allowed me to make a copy of their Spark 4 molds and masters, and then we start the SRF team, the Speed and Action Fly team, and that was a funny time with them. And also they were quite young and they were quite offensive. And we meet also Peter Huberts, and that was the group where we go on and try to go in the B-Kader that function quite fast. And up from 1989, we come in the B-Kader, I think.
Okay.
And then we meet everybody and we fly again against Reinhard Liese and Ralf Decker.
And you had this model which you're holding in your hands back then. That was the fuselage, right?
That was the fuselage. Yeah, quite. It's like gummy here. So,
ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it already carbon or was it still fiberglass?
Okay. That is Kevlar and aramid and glass fiber.
Yeah.
Just the spar of the wing was carbon fiber at that time.
And the wing were 3 pieces and screwed on top. Okay, but basically the dimension of the plane were similar, right?
Yeah, it's 2.8 meter, was it? And the wing was fixed with tape on the fuselage. Okay. Very easy to, not when you crashed, everything fall in parts and nothing breaks.
So talking about the 90s, you know, like those days, the Czechs and also Slovakia, Ukraine, all those countries are really strong in modeling making. And the Germans are very famous to be very great pilots. There's also some manufacturers in Germany, of course. Did those nations also compete like Czech, or is it just become later on famous that they are very good in producing planes?
In that time, it was Jaro Müller who makes the Ellipse and the Jewel. And so in that time, they start also their production to copy the planes from Ralf Decker. And then they begin to make their own shapes and make it also in CNC machine molds. And it was in the 90s, 1990, they come and push up with to win the market of F3B planes.
Okay. And was it like from year to year, you know, like those, I would say the last 5 or 10 years, there's not every year kind of a breakthrough in a model design. There's still a lot of exciting stuff coming, of course, also in technologies with linkaging, LDS and so on. Servo development. Was it back then in the 90s that every year in spring the guys came with a new plane and you were like, or did everybody kind of developed in the same speed, I would say, or how was it for you? Did you came to the first race of the season and you were like, and they were like, the Weberschock, he made an amazing plane again.
Yeah, it's for me, it feels a little bit more like that we were a lot of the time we were quite successful. With the Kowalski brothers, we had a plane with 2.8 meter and it weighs around 2 kilo at that time. And all other pilots or all other teams come from the time where they have this open winch with 3 kilowatt or with really a lot of power. And then 1989, the rules changed and we have this small winches. And our plane or the planes from the Kowalskis fits directly perfect to this rule. And so we were successful up from this moment. And before they have T-tails and cross-tails, it was not a problem because the planes could weigh 3 kilo. But to make a T-tail or a cross-tail plane with 2 kilo, that was absolute difficult. And so to have this V-tail was an advantage. And so we were directly very successful. And then it goes on very easy to be successful a little bit.
And in terms of development, Martin, I want to talk about profiles later on as well. And in terms of development of the planes, how was or is the box rule for your F3B class? Just the measurements, like there's a maximum wingspan?
No.
What is the rules? Tell us the rules.
The rules is that the winch should be has a motor with 1.1 kilowatt, and it's the rules is you have a resistance, a total resistance with 23 milliohms, and that means 1.1 kilowatt has the winch. And that because of this you cannot have a very big plane. Maybe that would be an advantage, but you have to launch it quite high, and because of that the planes are in the area of 3 meters. When they are smaller, you have a disadvantage in some air conditions or in some conditions. And when you are bigger, we tried with a Carajo that was 3.3 meters. You have an advantage in some weather, but not always. And that, so the planes looks today quite the same, every plane. So it's, yeah.
Like, I remember that my dad was also F3B pilot in the beginning, and he was making T-tail planes. And I was actually, I had a conversation on the weekend with a guy which was flying F3Bs in the 80s or 90s, and they made the first full composite plane, and that was very exciting because they made the wing.
Sorry.
Okay, bring it on. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I repeat again that the guy was making the wings square at the outline, and I asked him why, and then he said because he only made one wing mold and he used it for both sides.
So look, this is a mother of all F3B planes. It's called Dassel, and this is a plane from 1979, or the AME team from Austria designed it in 1975. It was Fridolin Fritz, and they win 1979 the World Championship with this plane. It has just 2.2 meter span or 2.1 meter span.
Okay.
It has weight just 1 kilo, but it was full molded, and it was. I have an original fuselage here, and I find out how they built it, and they were really in an advantage of technology, and everybody has to follow them, and they were impressive good in a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay. And I look at the tail construction. It's very nice. It's between a cross tail and a T-tail, huh?
Yes.
Fuck,
And
it's amazing. It looks amazing.
Yes, and the tails and the wings were made with a foam core. So the technology what has today again a lot of planes, and they do it in 1979 and really well. And also the fin was made in a core system, so very light. And I copy that now, and I tried now with new materials. I show you. So
bring them all out, Martin.
Yeah, you can see here. I have made the fuselage in vacuum, and I put a Rohr cell core inside, and now I come to the area that the weight is lower than 1 kilo, but it's full S3B usable, and it's amazing what this plane has and a performance. Sometimes I think we have not find out so much in the last 30 years. Yeah.
Do you think there is in terms of development, it always went into the right direction? Because I know some stuff, like I heard from a F3B plane which had a bit higher aspect ratio, 3:20, and to me it sounded like, oh, that's a big breakthrough. And as the guy was explaining me about the model, in the same sentence he said total failed, and I was like, ooh, okay, maybe yes, okay. Were there flops, or for sure you have some cool stories to tell us about models which people were excited and then they disappeared again, right?
Yeah, it's happened on myself also. You know, it depends on a lot of things, how if a plane will have a success, or if a plane will have not a success. And you know, there happen a lot of good designs maybe in the past, but when they build it in a wrong way, or they have just the fuselage is a little bit too short. The wing is maybe perfect, but you have a lot of details where what is very important, then you have no advantage with it. The Carajo was maybe a design what would be very good up from the beginning. The wing section was all right, the aspect rate, everything was right, but our problem was in the beginning that the fuselage was much too soft, and I need nearly 1 year to understand, okay, I have to make the fuselage also in carbon, and then I begin to make very stiff fuselage, and then the Carajo begin to perform. But before I make the Eurofia 1, because I was thinking, the Carajo is not a good plane because we have no success. But I built CNC models for the Eurofia, and then it flies quite well. But in the same time, I developed the Carajo and find out we have here a performance plane. We don't need a new plane. And then I borrow the Eurofia masters and plugs to the F3J guys, and there it has success as a F3J plane. Yeah.
So, and that Eurofia design you kind of created and you also produced then, or how did you do that?
Yes, the Eurofia 2, it was...
I had one.
Yeah. Lucky you. Yes, it was made as a Volksplane, and Stratair asked for this plane.
I bought it there.
Yes, perfect. And they asked me, can we get the design? Can we buy it? And I asked, when you do it, I will directly start a new design. So they give me the money to build up with the Herrick Brothers radical design, and I could make the masters and machine the masters, and I had in that time then enough money from the Eurofia project to go on with this radical project
and buy the first Lamborghini, I think, right?
Never.
So Martin, talking about that Eurofia 2, when was that? Around
1996 or 7.
So towards 2000. And you made the masters, and the Stratair company was very famous doing model airplanes. They were also produced them somewhere in Czech, I guess, or somewhere?
I think so, yes.
Do you know, I don't want to go in details, but do you have a feeling for numbers?
Yes.
How many planes were made, for example?
I would like to ask Rainer Stratberger how many he builds, because he allowed me that I could go on also with my production, and yes. I think I produce around 80 of Eurofias, but they made hundreds, I think 500 or something. But we should ask him. Yeah,
very interesting. And there was Eurofia 2 already.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was the competition plane back then, or was it more like a fake F3B for everyone? Or when you were holding that model in your hand, you were like, this is what you need to buy? Or you thought, yeah, you guys can buy it, but I have something else in mind. No, it's like...
Yeah. We make this Estrella with Heiner Fischer, and then I make the Eurofia, and it was not much different to the Estrella. It was just easier to produce. Okay. And it was not going in a really... it was not made to have a lot of performance. It was just easy to build and easy to fly. And because of that, it was a success, I think. Yeah.
And that one still had crosstail.
It has. That was a crosstail from the race machine, from the Swedish guys. I had always a lot of connection to the Swedish team, because I was a helper of the Swedish team in the 94 and 95.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we design always a little bit in company. So they help me with the crosstail fuselage because they have a lot of experience at that time, and I make the retail version.
And was it also in terms of teams we were talking there? If you look at the 2000s, we know now it's very hard to say, but in like our TPS flying community, we have a kind of a triangle, which is basically here around us, I would say. America is starting to grow, England and many, many other countries. How was it with F3B? Because you had Japanese teams, I think, and did it happen that at some world championship, I would say, somebody rocked up with something and beat everybody? Or did that happen?
The Americans.
The Americans, okay.
That was it. Also, it was in the 90s, from 1991 to 1999. So nearly the 10 years, the Americans was dominating the world championship, and it was Joe Wirtz and Darrell Perkins. They win 10 years nearly each world championship.
So Martin, what did you do wrong? Or what did what did they do right? What did they do? It's starting to hurt.
It's hurting a little bit. I think I think they fly very offensive, and they find the right winch lines in that time. And I think the Germans and the European teams were a little bit too conservative.
Okay.
It begins with the Eagle from Joe Wirtz. It was a very light plane, like our Spark, I think, and they do it very well. They were a good team, and Joe Wirtz, you know Joe Wirtz, he's also specialized in weather and in development. And
I heard some crazy stuff about it.
Yes, and Darrell Perkins was a good pilot, but he was also so successful because of Joe Wirtz as a helper, I think. Yeah.
Martin, there is a question, guys. If you have a question, you're very welcome to ask. Simon Thornton is asking if the Calypso Cobra in 1998, did it have any influence at model design in your perspective? Or
yes, it's the success of the Calypso Cobra was wing section MH32, and you know, this is so fantastic. It was designed from Stuart Blanchard, and Stuart Blanchard was very successful as a pilot in the world championships before, and he was very offensive with a nice design. So he was responsible for the three-piece wings in the 80s, and he was the first guy who do it. And so he pushed the designs of F3B planes a lot before, and then it was I think a very good produced plane in that time. Yeah.
So did the Americans had models made in the US?
Yes, in the beginning, but then Darrell Perkins wins also world championship with a Calypso Cobra, with a crashed Calypso Cobra from somebody else. He repaired it, and in South Africa he fly really with a crazy plane, and he win also with a V Ultra from Heiner Fischer world championship. That was an easy design. Mm-hmm.
So talking about, I would say, coming around 2000, if you take a model design and your competition task, I would say, how much you think was the pilot, the model, and luck is always a bad word, but timing of the right chosen task or lucky in a group, or what would you say was breakthrough through all those years you were joining? Because even today, even you have the best plane, you don't win, right? So how much is it in percentage, you would say, between model pilots, and also about the pilot fitting to the model, which is also quite important, I think, right?
Yes, it is. I think we are in a very high level with designs from Benjamin Rodax and Philipp Kolb. And of course, they work with a lot of producers together. And so we are beginning to be on a same level everywhere. I think the model is, you have maybe an advantage when you fly a device with a top equipment, but everybody has it already. So when
Martin, that we go on with the development of this special plane, talking about around 2000 back then. Now we know today we have amazing planes. We will talk about them, and the pilot is even more important because the planes are more together. But back then, how much was it the pilot and the plane and the task more than today? In your what do you think about it, or was it similar?
It was quite similar because you know up from when the Czech guys build planes and when Heiner Fischer builds a lot of planes, nearly everybody has the same possibility to get a plane, and there were not much difference between the planes. Of course, somebody has the MH32, and Dieter Perlek has quite successful planes with them. And then it was like a mode, like a brand. Then I think it was always dependent who fly it. And of course, in F3B, the team is very important. When you have a good experienced team, you have a very good possibility to be successful.
And in terms of, I want to tell you the perspective on the scale gliders over the last few years, but in terms of F3B, when was the technology available that the wings got slimmer and the servos, and because there must have been a big momentum when I remember when I kind of joined the scene, there was this Foltz servo company which made the first slim wing servos which you needed for the wings. Was this also part of the design of the plane, that you kind of made or you just created the plane you wanted and then you tried to fit the electronics?
I think that the wing section gets lower, or the wing section gets thinner. That begins also in the 90s. But when the wrong people use it, they get not successful. I know today which plane you should have in the past, but the wrong people has it, and then nobody has to follow. When the right people would have it, then everybody has to use an 8% wing section or go lower to 7%. But when the wrong people has the right plane, then you have not to follow. And this helps that the development goes not so quick as it has, or as it could go. Yeah.
In terms of profile,
can I say sorry for my English? It's
great, Martin, it's great. It's great. Just that you guys know, there will be a translation in German also available in Deutsch through YouTube. That's why we do it in English, so it's more versatile. Martin, talking about profile, it's very funny. Even those days, I still get many requests on my company email address about my planes, and the guys are asking if we are using Haku or MH32 and what is the name of the profile, because back then somehow, I have no idea, but for me MH32 is, I know it's a legend, but there are many legend profiles, and people sometimes still believe that the name of the profile tells you if the plane is good or bad, which those days we know we have great designers like Philip and Benjamin Rodax and many even more private guys developing stuff, and they're creating aerodynamic masterpieces. And if you ask what name has their profile, I even started to give the profiles names just that I can tell the guys, It's a GS1 Pro section, whatever. How was this in F3B? Because it must have been, did you look at planes and you were like, oh, this is the MR32, and you kind of tried to copy it? Or how did that develop over the years, I would say?
I know just, I was involved in the wing section time before I worked with the Herrick brothers together, or before I worked with Philip and Benjamin together. And there I go like this, that we say, I work with Hannes Delago from the Ariane team. So okay. One part of my career was also in this electric plane area. And there I was in the Ariane team around Franz Weisgerber.
Right?
F5b, yes. Yeah. It was also a fantastic time. Okay. And there was Hannes Delago. He was responsible for the designing of the propellers and also for the wing section. And I could go as a F3B pilot to him and say, Hannes, we have a very good, I think the MH32 is a good wing section. What do you think? Can we, I think the RG14 is also a nice profile. Can you change the camber? Yeah. And then we start to try to change with airfoil. I don't know the word. With X-foil, we try to change the RG40 to the MH32, the camber to. And then we think, that looks quite good in this calculation. And so we try to do a better profile than the MH32 and with the same character. And that was quite successful on the Estrella and on the Eurofia.
When did you start to design the wings in CHD and CNC molds and master? But when did it start around? Because I don't think it's that long, right?
It is. Nice. We had this. That happened with the Ariane team. Franz Weisgerber was one of the first guys who has their own CNC machine, and they already built the F5b models in CNC technique. And then Florian Lang and me come to Franz and ask, can we make an F3B plane maybe? And we make the Carajo with the elliptic wing. Already. And that was 1995.
Wow. And so it's a very long time ago.
Yeah? Yes. And so we have a small technology advantage because we could mill also the elliptic foams or cores for this wing. And that was quite well. Yeah.
So Martin, tell me about this crazy V-tail development. I know I made a plane now with the V-tail and the cross-tail because I finally want to close this mystery for myself, because many guys say, the V-tail, that plane needs to have a V-tail, it flies much better, okay, and so on. And then I also heard some rumors that one V-tail has a drag of one servo cover on top of the wing in perspective and blah, blah, blah. How did that V-tail come to the scene? Because it looks like it has less surface compared to a T-tail, but in your understanding, why? Why a V-tail?
It comes that it saves weight, and it comes also that it's much easier to build and to produce. I think for us, and here in a V-tail fuselage, that is just a tube and very easy to produce in a very good way. And the V-tail is also easy to produce. We have also the cross-tail version for the device, but that has to build from Vladimir normally in the Ukraine, and he has the technique, but I have to do a lot when I should do it on myself. And so it's always it has a little bit a disadvantage in landing a crosstail or something. A V-tail is quite easy to do, and it's fly okay. I think when I compare the V-tail and the crosstail, it's a little bit another plane because it flies really like you want the crosstail plane. You know, it's perfect to control, but it's not so necessary. It's you know, you need a weapon in our class what is usable from the beginning to the end of the competition. And when you crash, you have a big problem. You cannot change the plane between the tasks. So it has to stand to the last flight, and that is very successful with the V-tail. Yeah,
that's very interesting, because you could have told me this before. I would not have made all the molds for the V-tail, because I actually thought it has such a big advantage. For me, a crosstail is so much more easy to get set up, I would say, to especially also to give to customers and good pilots. You basically can hand it over. You can adjust the EVD angle in the way you want, and to have a V-tail working nicely with the differential and so on, you need a lot of experience, I would say, right?
Yeah, but
more experience.
It depends what V-tail you use. When you have one from Philip and Benjamin, you have not much trouble.
I have.
No, I tell you, we are in the beginning of the development or of the using of a crosstail device, and we will see if we need the 100% performance to use it really to be successful in a competition. And that, yeah, we have to fly against the V-tail, and when it's better, we will use it. But in moment, yeah, we just start with the testing.
So we're coming towards the, like, today, I would say, in terms of development of the planes. Maybe we can go even a bit more detailed, talking about that flagship you have, the device. Because before you were doing every year new planes, kind of handmade, CNC and so on. And I think with the device, it was the kind of next step in terms of aerodynamic design and so on. Which plane was the plane before the device?
It was a Radical.
It was a Radical. And how many years did you had it, approximately?
From 2005. 2006 we have it first time on a competition. Yeah.
Okay. And the device, when did you launch the device?
Now you can't see Philip, but now he is smiling about, because it takes absolute too much time. We should ask him, but it was 2008 or 2007, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and but it takes a lot of time to make the masters and the molds. I think. Yeah,
but Martin, that's the cool thing, because I think like now, you know how it is. You go to an air meeting, you go to a competition, you have a great day with all your friends. In the evening, you sit together and they say, we should do a new plane. Let's do it. And then you have one beer and you think, yeah, actually, we could do that quick. Right? Mm-hmm. And then 3 years later, I'm still looking at the masters and I'm like, and it's not happening. And I know you have the skills to even do it on your own. When you say you started kind of 2008 designing that device, is the device you're flying today the device which came out of the first mold, or is there like development in between?
No, not much development. That was fantastic. The plane was really successful from the beginning, and we haven't changed. I think just the test with the crosstail, but everything else was really perfect design from Philip and Benjamin, and that was also amazing for me. I fly a lot of time or a long years Radical, and then I sell the last plane for the Radical Jazz, was it? Because the F3F guys needed, and I say, okay, I need a second plane. I made the first device ready that I have a second plane. And I was thinking it's just like a Radical, but maybe it looks a little bit different. And then I launched it the first time, and I was directly feeling, oh my God, that is another step. And you know, when you launch, that is not much, but when you feel it in the first launch that this is another model, then that is not just 1%, that is really another world. And I think the success, I was not very successful in the end of the Radical time for some years, but I was directly successful from the first competition with the device. And really? Now I'm back. That feels really, really crazy for me.
And how was it back then when you had the first one? Did you produce them by yourself, or was it already kind of somewhere?
No,
mass production is always a bad word, but multiplied, I would say.
No, I lose my producer a little bit, and so I had to build it on myself. So I built it nearly 60 devices on myself before really? Vladimir starts to build it. Yeah.
Really, so many. Okay, and were there during the time when you were racing that plane? Did you see development also on pilots which were flying, what do I know, Radical Jazz, Orofia, whatever, and you gave them their plane and they were all of a sudden super good?
Yes, yeah? Okay. Absolute. Everybody, I feel another step in my own team of everybody, because my whole team is is very successful. When it was when it would be a world championship 2000, what we have, 19 or 2021, last year, my whole team would be qualified. So that, yeah, sorry. No, also not so experienced pilot could have a lot of performance out of this plane, and that makes it quite special. Yeah.
I mean, I had the luck to experience it during the previous training of the Oktoberfest Pokal last year. You gave me one plane to try, and you know, it's easy to say if you get a radio from a guy which is a very good pilot, like you, and so experienced, you can take the radio and the plane pretty much, it's not doing it automatically, but you understand it quite easily. And I was very impressed about when you just set up the rudders a little bit different on the wing, that I immediately felt it. Right? That was very, very amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, when you would have the time to be on Saturday and Sunday on the competition, I am sure that you would win this competition with your
having
talent.
Said this, because Kunzi is also here, we are in 2022, and this year at the Oktoberfest Pokal, I will come for the first time to race. And we drag Philipp Kolb there as well. Martin is already having the dress on. He will start to build our planes now until September. And then we make a big show in Munich at the Oktoberfest Pokal. Which edition will it be? The 250th time, or it's many years, right? 40?
It's many years. We have more than 30. I don't know how many it is.
How many times did you win it, Martin?
The Oktoberfest Pokal.
Yeah, 25 times?
One time.
One time?
Yes. Yeah, that's enough. You have to win everything just one time.
No, you cannot choose one. Okay, that means, Martin, to be honest, if you won it one time and you don't think you can win it again, then it's time to close that mold behind you and finally start to fly GPS. I mean, we all waiting for it.
No, I can tell you, we after the Corona time, we don't know how our class will be alive, and we have in the
stronger.
That is quite fantastic. Is we have in the end of April the first competition, and we have, I think, 58 pilots who are want to compete, and that is fantastic for an end of April competition. And I'm very happy about that, and I'm absolutely happy that everybody come back, and I'm happy to start again.
Martin, the numbers match. No, you said you made 60 devices, 58 guys come, and you have 2 planes in your car, makes 60. So it's everybody. Or is there some other planes around those days which you believe are they very similar? Are they suited to pilot skills, style? What would you say? Like, if you look at the other planes, is that you look over and you like, I would love to do it this way, or is it the fraction and very similar?
The fraction? What means a fraction?
Fraction means very close to each other.
Yeah, it's quite close. Yeah, it's quite close to each other. The pike precision 2 or the pikes are quite successful, and also the freestyler series is quite successful. And Jiri Baudes has also nice planes, and yeah, I think the level is quite high. That is like a bicycle. You can use different bicycles, and I think you can also win with each bicycle. Yeah.
So Martin, now before we go into another topic, I want to close that last chapter about model development. You're kind of the David Hasselhoff of Graupner. What is this story with this Graupner? Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. It's a bad brand, but I'm used to that everybody has this kind of small radio in his hand, and then you come with the shuffle here. Yeah. So what is it? It's not even a new Graupner. What?
It's it's a MC24, and you know, this year I get to the limit of this MC24.
So show it to us. But Martin, the guy which developed that radio, I think it's in pension already. No, when is that radio from?
Sorry for Mr. Robichko. Hello, Mr. Robichko. Okay. I still use your transmitter. Yeah, and I think. Yeah, you know, I tried to change another transmitter, but every springtime it's hard for me to change something. You know, you see here the Cirrus, what we made, and Vladimir make a new wing for it with 3 with 3 servos in each wing, so 3 flaps, and my transmitter could do it anymore. The servos was shaking a lot. Yeah, I think they were afraid that I used this transmitter again.
Excited to fly. They were excited to fly. So when is that? What is that radio? It's 20 years old, eh?
Yes. I have a sticker on it from 2001.
21 years. And how many you have of this?
3. Yeah.
Okay, so you will go on. So you have this beautiful scale glider back there, which is the latest development, and there is still this old radio inside, Martin.
No, it's not possible. It was not possible. So I bought a MZ32 from Graupner. And I think I had it for 3 years, but not used. And then I get help to program it, and it was function from the beginning. And it is talking with me, and it's playing music. It's fantastic what they can do.
Bring that plane a bit closer, Martin. Tell us about this plane.
Yeah,
you'll be fine. So that plane is the new Cirrus Martin did, and it's the Erlenkönig. All right, we wait until he has the microphone back. Ooh.
I can't understand.
Yeah, I know. Martin, that plane is too big for your workshop.
Yes.
You make it smaller.
That I can't understand why you use so big planes, because it's really not not so easy to use.
All about that plane, because I have been flying it already. I know the design has been a few weeks old already. It's outstanding, but how is it made? Who made it? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's again, it was Philip. When I asked Philip, I think it was last year, Philip, or? No, it was some years ago where I asked, I want to make also a scale plane. And we talked when Philip was in Turkey in that time. So that was maybe 2 years ago. And I asked for an ASW or for a Schleicher plane, but he say, I make a Cirrus. This is amazing. And I have prepared a design. And then I say, okay, then I go for a Cirrus. And I was not so happy in the beginning, but now I love it. And it is an amazing plane. This plane has also this impeller motor from
MiG-Flight.
From MiG-Flight, yes. The E70 and the weight is 5.1 kilo with this motor and ready equipped. And yeah, I hope Vladimir will get
it going.
Can stop the war soon. And I hope everybody will stay alive in his family and his workshop, and he could produce it again.
I heard it's made in multiple parts, right? It's like very compact. It's a 4-piece wing, a 2-piece fuselage, and you want to take it apart. This has already the 4-piece wing from Vladimir made in aluminium molds, but it has my fuselage in 1 piece. Yeah. Okay.
But
we can cut it in 2 pieces, no problem, Martin. All right, and this is like the first production. It's like the Erlenkönig. It's like the first production plane.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So for sure we will also put a link, and that will be going production soon. So we have to share that one for the moment, Martin. Okay. So tell us about. I know I also have one wing which you are repairing at the moment. Needs to be finished next week. Okay. And what about that mold behind you? Is this the future? What is happening there?
My team makes a middle piece for the device. So it's a 1.2 meter middle piece. So we have then 4.2 meter. And this is usable, I think, for your GPS sports class. And
will you close it anytime soon, that mold? How long is it standing there?
So I think 3 hours or something. No, it's since last year, but I will go on with the production now. And
you have a fuselage as well?
Yeah, it's a fuselage from Vladimir construction, and I think we have to find.
And you will be able to join the outside wing of the device and combine it with the middle section.
Yes, yeah.
Very exciting. So 3-piece wing.
Yes.
Okay. So you have time until July, and we want.
I will just talking, flying.
So you should bring some of your F3B heroes there.
Yes.
We're waiting.
Yes. I know that somebody will come. Yeah.
So how is it in F3B today? Which teams are the strongest, or which pilots? Are they training more than the others? Is it stronger groups? I know yourself, you have some family members also racing with you. Who is strong there? Who is special, I would say?
Who's special? Yeah, I'm quite happy. Søren Krogh from Denmark is here also in this meeting.
Yeah,
he is quite powerful in Denmark with his son, and he developed also a group around in Denmark who is competing and who is training a lot. That is very promising. And in Switzerland, Andreas Böhlen, and he form also a group around him. The team from Kulmbach. It was created by Andreas Kunz, and of course we miss him still in this class, because he was also a nice character. You know him, and yeah, it's
yeah. But it's easy, Martin. If you come to join us, you have the Kunzi and me.
Yeah,
so
that's
all
nice.
you do is to come.
Yeah, it's with computer, I think, your class, or?
Yeah, you can bring your Grabner radio. It will be fine. It will be fine. It will go. So I think we almost have 1.5 hours already, guys. If you have any questions, please drop them into the chat box if you want. I would like to kind of finalize the chat in future, like future development and so on. And it actually doesn't matter in which direction you're talking. If you're looking at today, and if I also personally look at my racing plane today, and you look at your device and you're holding it in your hand, where you think the road will go? What is the next kind of big thing? Even the steps are small, we know. Is it electric engines to F3B planes? Is it different class rules? What do you think, or what would you like to see?
It's what should I say? For me, the classes should be like that. That's the pilot should be very important. Mm-hmm. The pilot skills. The pilot skills should be the point for this competitions, and I think that we have in moment. Of course, we try always to make planes better. I would hope that we find a way where the planes get not so very expensive. We have the problem that we have planes what cost more than 2,000 euro, and I think it will rise up again. Yeah. That is not very useful for people who want to come in the sport, and I think it makes really not much sense to have such an expensive plane. That is also the reason why I repair a lot of planes, because we cannot throw everything away. It's really shit to make rubbish with this plane, and I think we can repair it very easy and use it for beginners or for everybody who has not much money. That is one point. I think that to have an S3B class with an electric motor, it's maybe good for beginners or for people who has not a team around. But for me, it's a team sport, and I just do it with a team. So it is not a way for me to go now in that direction of the competition. I would ask everybody who starts with this class, and I invite them to come to make the S3B class. We help them with the launch, because that is a fantastic beginning of a flight. And we want to grow up this family, of course. I think it's a little bit a problem in our model sport area that we have more and more classes, and that splits a group of pilots in different ways. Yeah.
I mean, it's always hard to say, I would say, because it's not just a development, it's mostly also, I would say, a trend. Yeah. I can see for myself, for example, this race class, it's called, which I personally thought in the beginning that it's absolutely stupid. And having looked at it very closely, I actually think it's very, very great for the sport to have this box rule, which you have your creativity to develop planes in a simple way and race. And at the end of the day, if it's Kunzi, Kolb, you, me, whoever, it's still about the race, right? And I felt when I met you flying this Oktoberfest Pokal, that when I was there with you guys and everything was set up, I would have loved to just start and do it forever, right? But I just couldn't see myself putting the win there myself on Friday afternoon when I'm already too late out of the office. But this is a spirit, like you say,
Yes.
but maybe we just have to kind of stick together and see in which direction it goes, right? And at the end, we just want to have fun together. And this is the most important thing, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think also that I want to tell you that your GPS class, it's a perfect development of our sport, because it makes a race and it makes it possible with not much organizing effort. And that is very important. When you have a group with 5 people who want to compete, it's possible. In F3B, it's not possible to fly with 5 people because the effort is much too high. And we are in a box of this problem, but okay, I think that is in other sports also like this. And I have not, I have not to make another class, because when I want to have a race, I can begin with this GPS class, and it's already exists. So to create again new classes, it's maybe also a own idea of sport, but I think not successful for our complete sport. I think what you do here, that is very important. We have to make advertising about that, what we do, and we have to come. I want to come to your place to visit again Kunzi and Co. And I celebrate your class, and I want to help with my personality to push your sport. And I think when we make this mixing, that you come to our sport and take your personality to us, I think then we come together, and that is an important part for the future.
I totally agree to this. And as I said, when I joined you guys at that race, and you feel the spirit and you have the people, it's a completely different story. That's why I also would like to tell you guys out there that you really should go and look on the website. Is it the F3B website or the GPS website? And just go to races, because people are very open in all the classes, and especially Martin, of course, a very icon. And gets you inspired as well. And also we are not shy to help. And newcomers like you also, Martin, helping with developing, and we do seminars where people can come and build with you. They can go on your website, get in touch with you, and come to build planes on your own. You have molds, you're offering courses to build planes. And I think that's something which you guys should definitely take advantage of. I can tell you that the story about the guys also listening today, the Thomas Buckley, he's a school teacher, and he had a sabbatical time, which he was able to choose what he would like to do. And he called Martin, and he went there for a few months to help you building planes. And I think the experience is incredible. I mean, it's super nice.
I think also we do this sport not just to be alone somewhere on a place. And when I look back, I'm totally happy that I do this sport, because no money makes the difference. I start as a junior, and everywhere in the world, the door was open for me. I was invited in Australia, in Japan, in Chile, and everywhere. The people are open, and everybody, we come together, and that is the beginning. And now we start again, or we have to start to go in the different classes to catch everybody and to say, we are not different.
No, that's great. So I want to finalize it with just a few more perspectives, which are quite interesting to me. And I don't want you to kind of drag anybody into bad mood or say something bad, but are there pilots over the decade or now which are inspiring you by doing your hobby? Like I can tell that example when I started to fly GPS and Philip Kolb came with his Turkish team to that race and I saw them for the first time so organized with these planes and so on. I saw that this is what I like to do. And, you know, like for you through your very long career, were there magic people which you were like, oh, like this, I want to do it?
Yeah, it's begin up from the beginning. So like Ralf Decker and Dieter Pfefferkorn with his technique, or later, you know, I have studied the whole history of F3B and I'm totally amazed and I want to meet everybody again. And now I'm a little bit popular, so it's easy to ask the people from the past, is it possible? And I'm very happy that I get here, you know, I get the molds from Ralf Decker for the Tele F and for the No Name, and I was missing the mold for the fin here, and I asked Dieter Pfefferkorn, do you have maybe this, what is it called?
A rudder.
The rudder. Do you have a rudder? And then we go in his workshop and he say, no, I don't think so. And then in the edge of his workshop, he finds the original fuselage from 1983. They changed the fuselage because it was too thin for the strong winches, and they destroyed a lot of fuselage, and Dieter Pfefferkorn saved his fuselage, and I get the original from 1983 with the original servos inside. Wow. And you know, it begins now I could see the plane what I copy in my beginning, and that is something to understand this and to fly again such a plane and to study that is always inspiration for me. And I think this is now beginning that we get a culture, or that we get a tradition or a history, and that we have to save, and we have to find, we have to bring it in the nowadays, that it's get not lost, because it's very important for our society.
It has a detail, and you know, this week is my 40th birthday, and I ordered a device detail. So don't let me down, because now it's on camera, right?
Yes.
Oh, Martin, I know what you do tomorrow. Okay. And in terms of development, and in terms of, if you would have 1 million to spend, okay, would you do anything different on a plane than you did on the, like, this is the latest plane is the device, no? So I'm not going to go to tell the Carajo or the Chess. What would you do different in terms of technology, carbon, molding? If you could choose whatever you want, okay, have 3 floors on your workshop, what would you do different? And I'm more than happy if you say everything is like I wanted to. No, it's also nice. But what would you do?
I don't miss anything. But you know, I do it now for 30 years, and I'm totally happy with my plane. I understand I should think about, and of course I'm in discussion with Benjamin and Philip about the future. But we have to get information before we can make another step. I think I would develop things in that direction, that more people could buy it for less money, that we get younger people again in the sport. But maybe it's not the money, maybe it's just our work, that we have to show young people how funny it is what we do, because it is so important that we get younger people again in our sport. We get older. Yeah.
No, I'm totally agree, but I definitely believe that the money topic is of course always a big issue for, especially for beginners. But I do believe there is enough guys which, like you, which support people in terms of material, fixed planes. And at the end, it's a community you have to build up, and you always kind of need somebody with pushes the limit. We had, for example, Philip doing a GPS Academy a few weeks back, and everybody which joined there was totally hooked to the class. And I don't think that it was the class which changed, or the people which only realized what we're actually doing. It was more like the people together. Of course, the weather was amazing as well. And then having discussions with the right people, which are also giving advices and so on, makes a huge difference. And I think that's why also we're talking tonight, because I definitely think that F3B can go on, and the stuff is there, and it's really nice developed, and it's just about the people which needs to push. I mean, at the end of the day, many guys have family and so on, so it's not as easy to plan, of course. And and let's see where that road leads us, right?
Yes, I think the thing is, ask me what I do, what I do with 1 million euro. I would
give me half. Okay.
No, of course, I think we need a lot of money, maybe to help again in Ukraine, that that Vladimir could go on with his job in future. And I wait for the moment I will be hopefully the guy who collects this money for him. I get hurt on myself with this shit. The other thing is, we have a woman who are competing in S3F, or we have young guys from Denmark who compete in S3F, and I'm happy when they fly the device. What do you think about that? Is it okay when I ask you guys to help me to sponsor this plane? It feels a little bit strange for me when I'm the producer, but I make not so much money with my business that I could sponsor most youngsters or something. And I hope you understand it right when I will ask for it, and feel free, and don't say why he asked other people with the sponsoring. Maybe this evening you understand what is my goal. I want not push my equipment. We cannot sell more planes because we have not the time or not the possibility to build. But I want that also young people, or Katja has a plane where she could compete, and where she has where they can have success.
No, definitely. I mean, that's also why stuff like our interview tonight is very important, also to explain the personality of you, which what is happening and what the development is. Of course, the Ukraine story is another topic which we are all kind of very happy to help in the future, which will come. I don't see a problem there, that everybody is very happy to help, of course, especially in these difficult times, but especially also with, as you said, supporting young guys and so on, having foundings and so on. It's not something people misunderstand. And I think having it translated in a video like an interview and so on, make people understand, and that is very nice, I think. I think we are a society, and I think, I was also a young guy when I begin to compete, and it is our responsibility to help now also young people. That's great. I mean, this is fabulous. That's great. All right. Is there anything else, Martin, you would like to tell the world in 2022 before we do you have anything else to show?
Yeah, maybe.
Otherwise, I go to bed slowly. Tell us.
Is it okay to go on, or is
Yeah,
it?
sure,
Yeah,
go on. Oh, there's another one. Oh, oi, 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 oi.
Because
Oi, oi, oi.
I
Oi,
think
oi, oi, oi.
it's a long time ago, but you asked me before we make this interview what was a very special
breakthrough. Yeah.
Time, and you know, I made all the time as this F3B class, and that was 150 meters. So I train a lot when I was young. So maybe I get a good skill in that to know where 150 meter are. And then I make also, I try this F5b class, and I make also a plane with Frederick von der Lanken in that time. And I go to the competitions there, and the people, yeah, we had a lot of fun. And then the Ariane team, I meet the Ariane team, and they ask me, oh, come in our team and be our caller, be our co-pilot. And I could go 1996 with the Ariane team to the World Championship to Czechoslovakia. And we arrived there. And it was a time where we use the first time brushless motors. And the Americans shows us flying style, and they make, yeah, you know, the Ariane team was always very late with the development. And before we go to this World Championship, we test the new propeller from Hannes de Lago, and we feel, okay, we have no motor running time. After 30 seconds, the accu was empty. So the propellers were very much too strong, and it was just 4 days before this World Championship. So we have to mill new molds for the propellers, and we get the molds ready, and we go to the World Championship, and we have just the molds, and we have to laminate the propellers in the hotel for the world on the World Championship.
What? In the hotel you laminated the propeller for the World Championship? That was quite late then. That
was very late, and we have no... But,
Martin, now you bring the stories. I ask all day.
We have not these clamps with us. We had just 2 clamps or something, but we had a lot of more molds for the propellers, and we go with a car on the molds that we could press them together. So then the open competition of the pre-competition of this World Championship begin, and the Americans shows us a new style. No. They make the Americans make, they use their plane, and they make a half looping. They make the motor on, dude, accelerate, and then they fly the first lap upside down, and then on the B base they make just a half looping and come back, and so they make just loopings. No. And they were so successful with that, and we see that, and we say, okay, we have to train that. And we go.
You were still laminating the propellers.
We were, but we see that, and we say, okay, we have to train that. We go, we finish this open competition, and we go for a training field, and then our pilots, it was Franz Weisgerber and Florian, they could not manage to fly this style, because when you fly against it, it's very difficult to correct. And then we say we have to do it different. We do it that way, that we make just half a turn in one way, and then we go back. And you know, it was directly always in the altitude where I could, or where I have normally the force.
Understand.
The F3B style. It was completely fitting to my eyes, and so we do it in that way.
Yes.
And because of that we have not to climb.
Yes.
Our strong propellers were completely all right. So we could finish this propeller producing because our too strong propeller fits to the style, and the World Championship begin, and we had the right propeller to accelerate in the same altitude, and we win up from the first round against the American, and Franz Weisgerber get world champion and Florian Lang get second.
No way.
And it was such a strange story because we were too late, but we had so much luck that we find the style to our wrong propellers, and yeah.
So which propeller did you fly at the end? The ones which were the your car?
No. We fly the original ones was too strong for the normal style, but they were totally all right to accelerate the plane in the same height level.
How did you fly before? When you arrived, before you saw the American?
There we launched.
How did you fly before?
We launched up and use it for 4 laps or something, but not just for 2 laps. And
before you had different altitudes, and then you kind of made it on one altitude. And how did the Americans react?
They get crazy. Yeah, they go on with their style, but they had no chance because the physics say when you accelerate the plane in the same level, you could have much more speed. You have much more efficient plane. And, so, the Americans were, I think, very upset that they show us the style.
And are there other breakthroughs like this, Martin? I was waiting for 1.5 hours to bring a story like this.
Maybe we should make a second part.
Because it will be the same like this year at the World Championship. When you come, Kunzi will see that I have something completely different, and he will be like, oh, he will kill me. And you can help him to make the propellers under the car.
No, I can tell you that is 30 years to be 30 years on international competition. You could have a lot of evenings with nice stories. When we try to fly in Sweden, it get not very dark in the evenings and in the night. And when you try to launch an F3B plane in the middle of the night, it's fantastic. So yeah, it's.
Did you had kind of the same thing? When did you stop F5b actually then?
It was 2002 in Switzerland. Yeah, I crashed more planes than I bring. So greetings to Urs Leodolder. I was each evening in his workshop and repair my plane. So maybe in that time I get very well in repairing. Yeah.
Okay. So how many planes did you bring, Martin?
I think it was three in the beginning, and I had just 1 left what I repair, and I bring also the molds. That was my luck, so I could repair it in the molds. Then
you repaired in the molds.
Yeah.
So did you had and why did you stop with the F5b? Was it too much training effect, or did you like the F3B more?
I like the F3B more. Also, the Ariane team was stopping, so Franz don't go on, and also Florian Lang was a very important part for me, and he go to America, so we finished in that.
So
time.
That plane you're holding in your hand, is this the plane which you guys won that World Championship, the 1 and 2?
No, I was just a helper in that time, 1986.
The Florian and Kalb.
Yeah, something. It looks like that. Yes, this is a Ariane V8, and they win with the Ariane V6. But 98, I get 2000 with such a model.
Okay.
Vice champion after Urs Leodolder. So that was in Santiago. Yeah.
And what was the development about between, like, for example, V6 and V8?
The wing section get always thinner. So this was just 6.5% thickness. Yeah.
And why is that V-tail so flat?
Yeah, don't ask. I don't know. That's maybe we would do it different today. Yeah. Yeah.
And in terms of motor and electric, the development there, they were brushless, and how was it there?
Look, that's maybe the people from the part, or you don't know it. This was the accu that was 27 cells of nickel cadmium, 1.1 kilogram, and this was the motor. We make the frame for the motor on ourselves. So
in carbon.
It was in carbon, yeah. And look, this is a prototype.
Up, Martin,
prototype of a Samba motor from Contronic. Sorry, I crashed it also.
You modified it.
Yes, it was also a special design just for this World Championships. There were made just 2 motors of this, and
really?
Yeah.
And who made those gearboxes?
This gearboxes, or this gearboxes, we do it on ourselves. We do it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow, Martin, come on, bring on. What else you have there for show us?
Yeah.
Nothing. I have to start on my collection somehow. I have nothing.
Yeah. Look. Maybe. So this is also, Urs Leodolda has also a collection of old planes, and we search also, old. I think it's so interesting how well the designs from the past was made, how they take care to save weight, because the electric stuff was so heavy that everything else around must be so light. And it's fantastic to look what happened. I want to make also YouTube videos about designs from the past, because it's absolute interesting, and it's also one of my.
Martin, can you see it has a detail like the light you're making me, just to bring the loop all together again?
Of course, yes.
Wow, this is cool. Okay, what else you have?
It's what can I show you? It's not. You asked me what I do also. So I work for the DLR. It's a German aeronautic development or something, and they are located in Göttingen, and also Göttingen has the first institute for aerodynamic. Mr. Prantl has made the first wind tunnel here, a water tunnel, and so on. And in the end of my study in Göttingen, I understand that the DLR is here, and maybe I would study something else than psychology to come in this institute. But today, I think there is in each week somebody from the DLR come in my workshop and bring or take something. We make a lot of models for them, or special tools, and help with designing or.
But Martin, you have to understand it, right? So you think you had to study something else to go there, but they actually come to you now. So it's nothing you did wrong, right?
Maybe it's not so wrong. Yes.
If they would never come, then you did something wrong. But if they come every week.
I'm totally happy to work with them together, and I think they are also happy to work here or to come. They like it is always they fight for that who can come to my workshop.
Okay. And I guess you have something else to show, or
not so. I'm nearly finished now. No, just when you want to, we talk about the Kowalski brothers, and I find a photo of our group. You see that?
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
That are the Kowalski brothers, and you see crazy guys. And that was me in the past. So yeah, more hairs. That was 1991.
And slower planes. So you only win, Martin. You got more streamlined than your planes too. So
Yeah.
there's nothing you have to hide. And what happened to those Kowalski's brother now? Where did they go?
They are, I think Peter Kowalski sometimes compete in F3F in the slope flying, and Klaus Kowalski, I'm not so sure, but he stopped competition flying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Cool. All right. So we're slowly coming to an end. Martin, tell us if anybody wants to come to make a seminar with you or come to build, just get in touch with you. Do you have an agenda when you do something, or?
I'm totally open. When somebody is interested, we make a date, and then I make a advertising for that. Maybe somebody else like to come, but tell me what you want to do, and we create a seminar around that. And I think that function quite well. We go more and more in that direction, that we build something what you can use then, because that is very motivated for you, and it's quite funny. Yeah, when you can take something home for that.
So people can come and kind of be able to use molds you have kind of at your workshops, sorry, and they can stay with you and kind of learn how to build planes. Would you offer kind of that they can come and build a full plane out of your molds?
Yeah, that's quite difficult. To build a full plane takes more than 1 week, but to make wings and tails, maybe for a device, that is possible in 3 days, and that is quite a good block of something. Or we built also in a seminar the wing of the Cirrus, and that is we built a part, and maybe the rest we have to buy, or we have to do it in another seminar. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's great, Martin. I definitely think you should go on with those seminars. I only heard amazing things about guys which came back, and you should actually move a little bit closer to the south, but I think you like it quite up there. So let's try that we can get more people to join you there. That would be definitely great. Also, if you would like to support Martin, of course, we find a way. I would say maybe we get you a radio sponsor. Basically, Graupner actually is still a very great company, and they are making new radios with 6 servo flaps mixers. So just as you know, it's not the brand which is old. It's your radio which is old. We can definitely work there.
Yes.
Right. So if anybody has a question, please drop it. I see in the chat box, Martin, that we have great feedbacks on your seminars as well. Guys which came to learn how to work with you, which really like it. Also learning all the experience about composites, I would say. And if nobody else has something to say, I would say thank you very much. I think that will be a great episode on our channel and inspire a lot of guys and people, not just joining the F3B scene, for also getting into model development into our great hobby, I would say.
Yes, thank you very much for this possibility. You see, I like mostly a talk about the model planes. That is quite difficult for me in psychology, because people get upset when I look for a plane when I talk to them, and I have to describe why I look to the plane. So just that you know, it's sometimes hard for me. Don't talk about planes. But Andreas want to say something.
Mr. Kunzi, do you want to say something? Because you're going to be sooner or later in that Glider Pilot series as well.
No. I'm on the mind for the next weekend to have a great stop in Wiel, GBS flying.
Yes.
And I'm dreaming about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think it's great. We are having beginning of April 2022. Everybody polished his models over winter time. Some still finishing, some will be quite exciting to see. And I wish you a great season, Martin, also in your class. We're going to see you in July at the World Championship in Erbach in Ulm, where we fly the Sport Class World Championship, and we will have you as a commentator in Facebook Live and also YouTube. And we do hope that we can talk about Kunzi a lot in Erbach then, because he's getting into racing mode.
We will make a sports studio in the evening, and then we talk with Andreas.
Yeah,
we have two interviewers then for him.
And the question will be, Martin, Kunzi, can you tell us what you did wrong today that you did not beat Daniel? No, that's great. Okay, guys. So thank you very much for your time. That was simply amazing, especially with that last stories you brought out, Martin. Thank you very much. And I would say we see us later.